Welcome to Two Mediums of the Large. Today we are bringing on a special guest just for a quick read. As you know, my name is Lara. We have Robbie and Heather with us, but we also have Linda with us today, who is just going to help us and give a clear read on mediumship so we can know what a mediumship reading does sound like. Okay. So I will get started just a moment. Okay. So I have a woman stepping forward, and she feels like she is more of a grandmother energy. The way she comes in is she's a shorter woman, and she's got like I almost feel like she's got brown hair, but there's kind of like this reddish tone to her hair. She's a bit on the shorter side, and she comes through as a bit of like a feistier woman. She's strong in her belief systems, and I feel like her religion was quite strong as well. But as I connect to her, I also see like she's got some European descent with her. And like I'm almost feeling like she's got like some Italian in her, the way she comes across. But she is very somebody that was very strong in her belief systems when it comes to God and her religion. Can you understand this?
Yes.
Okay. So as I connect with her, she shows me she's somebody that was very big into cooking. I see her cooking a lot of food. She kind of always had food on the go. And she would have had an accent. And I feel like she would have carried along like a long list of like foods from her heritage and that like she always kind of had food on the go is what she's showing me. And she loved to help people and like serve them food. I feel like the more food, the better in her eyes. It's like she's showing me like lasagnas and like cutlets, and I feel like these are like the foods that she would have cooked. But she's also somebody that was um, she was very good in her baking skills too. She's very proud woman when it comes to her cooking skills and where she came from. She would have been married for quite some time, and I do feel that her husband would have passed to the spirit before her. Can you understand this information?
Yes.
Yes. And as she brings my attention to her, I do feel like she would have gone quite ill as she got older, but there's a feeling of her struggling a bit with her memory. Can you understand that?
Yes.
Yeah, like I'm feeling like she almost would have made it to like, her mid to late 80s in age. Like she would have really lived a lifestyle that was very wholesome as well. There's a feeling of her feeling quite lonely, and I feel like there would have been somebody taking care of her leading up to her passing. Can you understand that?
Yep.
And she would have been in and out of hospital leading up to that. I feel like she had various health conditions that would have, kind of added to the stress of what was currently going on. And she showed me she was feeling quite agitated leading up to those moments as well. Um,
Yes.
She's also somebody that I feel like she was like a kisser, and she talked to you really close, and she kind of like hold on to you. She does want to share that she is very proud of who you are and that you're very strong in your belief system. She's saying that you really get this from her. This does feel like it's a grandmother energy that stepped in, and that you carry a lot of like you come from like a line of strong women. All of these women kind of carry a lot of the same characteristics, and she's saying that you guys are all very stubborn as well. And that she's saying she's like kind of like the matriarch of the family. And I just see like a lot, like a big family and like a lot of women in the family as well. Um, is it coming up to an anniversary of somebody's passing? Is this grandfather's passing that's coming up? I feel like there's an anniversary that's about to take place.
Um, I'm not sure because I never met him. I know who she's talking, her husband. I never met her husband. So it could be.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Sorry. She's saying that you're a great person, but an even better mother. You can understand you have children.
I do have children.
Yeah, and she's saying that you need to trust in your own abilities. It's time for you to start opening yourself up more to the spirit world. I do feel like there's going to be things that are going to be coming to fruition soon, things that you are being drawn to and being led to. So she does want to highlight to just pay extra attention to this as well. And she just wants to share her love for you, okay?
Thank
So thank you for allowing me to read for you.
thank you.
You want to give me
Um,
some?
sure. So the woman you're talking about was my grandma. Her name was Assunta. In Italian, it means Susan. And she did live
She
with
was
us.
Italian.
Yeah, she was Italian, and I remember about her. She lived with us, so we took care of her growing up, and she always was cooking sauce from scratch every Sunday, brijoles,
Yeah.
meatballs, the garden. She cut a chicken's head off in my garage. Don't come after me, Peter, but that was back in the day. That's what they had, pig's feet. Um, so I think that I get my gifts from her because when she was little, she only spoke Italian. She didn't speak any English, barely any English, but she always told a story about how she saw the Virgin Mary. And I remember that when she was in Italy, she was in a storm with her father, and they thought they were in a horse because she was in her 80s when she died, but my mom had me at 42, so she was really old. And the sky, she was praying to the Virgin Mary, and the sky lit up, and she saw her. And my grandmother always held the Bible every day, and she holds her rosary beads every single day. Like
Yeah.
that's all she did was pray, and like she always gave you chocolate. She always had chocolate in her pocket.
Yeah, she was very big into cooking. She reminds me a lot of my grandmother. I'm Italian as well, so my nonna. And they share a lot of very similar characteristics. So I felt like she was familiar. I felt like I was talking to somebody that
Yeah,
I knew.
but my
Yeah,
grandfather
thank
I
you.
never met. I never met my grandfather.
Okay, well, you might find, usually after readings, we may find that some more information comes to us or we figure it out through a family member. You can send me a message after and let me know if that made sense for
Okay,
you. Okay. Thank you so
okay.
much for joining
Thank
us
you.
today and sharing
Thank
with
you,
our viewers.
Linda.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
So, Lara, let me ask you, you and Heather both, in your channeling experiences, and that was a great session, by the way. Congratulations for that. But as you're doing this, I noticed something that I do quite some often, and the reason I'm going to bring this up is because I saw a post the other day on a Facebook group where somebody was doubting the legitimacy of psychics and what we do. And they were
Mhm.
talking about, going to see one, and all they heard was, I feel like, not I see, not, I feel like. And so that made them second guess the information they were getting. So, in my experience, I just kind of want to ask you guys that this is the same way. When I'm saying I feel like, I actually feel that. Not that it is a guess for me, not that I'm trying to do that. It is, I am not seeing anything. I am actually feeling the stuff in my body. And when I say
Mhm.
I feel like, I'm trying to explain that so that they can understand what I'm feeling. Is that kind of the same way that you guys do in your sessions, in your mediumship sessions?
For me, I will say that I definitely struggle with my choice of words in a session, trying to find the right words to really express what it is that I'm experiencing in that moment. When I say I feel like it's almost like that knowing that I'm kind of getting, but like I do sometimes carry like doubt within what I'm receiving, and that's kind of the kicker. Sometimes I feel really confident and I trust spirit wholeheartedly. Everything I bring through that I really trust, it does pan out that way that that was the message that was supposed to get across. But when I say like, um, I see, that's when I'm connecting clairvoyantly and I'm actually seeing this. And I'm seeing it kind of, in my mind's eye. But when I'm saying I'm feeling, it's just sort of like these hits that I'm just getting and it's all coming to my heart space,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So
absolutely.
that's usually the way it works for me. How about you, Heather?
For me, it could be a variety of things, and I'm going to try to explain this the best that I can. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll get an image in my mind, and it's not always literal. It's the
Yeah.
feeling of the image, or they'll give me a memory of my own, and it's how I felt in that situation, and it's relevant to that person. I could also have a physical sensation with, a lot of times I'll feel, not with every spirit, because some of them communicate differently, which I always find so fascinating. But some of them are really physical. So they will impress upon your body to make you feel a physical sensation that was relevant to, their passing, or maybe they had mobility issues. I've had my legs go completely like jello before. So it's almost like someone couldn't use their legs, or they'll show me they walked with a cane. But a lot of times I say I feel a lot, because that is my first and strongest clair is feeling. I am like a lightning, or I am like a metal rod in a lightning storm. I literally feel everything, which is overwhelming. But now I've, learned how to how to utilize that to my ability, but I feel a lot. So that's my strongest clair. So I disagree with, someone being skeptical because someone said I feel,
Yeah.
because that's my first clair, my strongest clair.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm the exact same way. And I've never actually approached anybody that felt that way, but I thought it was interesting that that was the way that the reason they thought that they couldn't believe this is because it was all about feeling and not about knowing. And that's something that I think a lot of people could probably, use understanding a little bit more, is that we don't claim to know anything. You know, we see, we feel, and that's why it's so important. Like Lara was asking there, do you understand? Is this because if we are going down a road that we are not picking up the right things, we need to know that so that we can switch, and I will tell you, there have been a couple of times that I've been in readings and they will just say, no, I'm not getting anything. And I'll just say, well, then I think we should end this and either schedule for another time or give your money back or something, because the energy just wasn't there. It wasn't right. I wasn't picking it up for some reason.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, I think that it is our responsibility to say, this just isn't going to happen. And these are the options
Yeah.
that we can have. Do you
Mhm.
I
feel the
find
same way?
sometimes though, now when I'm going into a reading and it's like pure mediumship, then we're going to focus on that. But a lot of the time, many of my people want like a mix of mediumship and psychic readings. And so I connect first mediumistically and I bring through all of that, but then I let them know, okay, now we're going to be moving in and I'm going to connect to your heart space a little bit and connect to your energy field. And that's when I work in the psychic link. And I find that sometimes what they need to hear is less from spirit and more from what is going on in their actual lives. And when I say to somebody, like, I'm terrible for this, like, you're like, do you understand this? But I do this because I know I sound like a broken record when I do it, but when I do this, it helps my sitter when they talk. And it's not, you don't have to
Strengthen.
tell me anything, just saying yes or no. That
Mhm.
opens up the means of communication even more. It's like me knowing that you understand this now lets me know wholeheartedly that, like, first, I'm with the right person, but also the means of information that comes through after they speak. It's like their voice really carries a certain frequency that connects us to their loved ones. And that's why it's really important to speak up. If somebody sits there and they're like, yeah, and that's it, like very quietly, and you can't hear them, it's like, the energy falls flat. You need to be engaged with your sitter. They can't just, like, for sure, they can just sit there. I'm not asking, like, I don't want to go into the reading knowing anything about this person, but to engage with us, it creates the energy in a way that is much easier for us to pick up on what's going on. It's not that you need to say anything other than yes or no, but it's just, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I do.
You totally,
That's how.
because
I do.
it strengthens the connection between you and your sitter,
Yeah.
which just amplifies, right, the vibration higher. So I think it's very important for a sitter to be, actively engaged, actively listening, right? Because sometimes I feel like I think back to when a couple years ago, and I still do see psychic mediums, but I would, some things didn't make sense then, but they do now. So I think sometimes, and it can be kind of overwhelming, I feel like sometimes too, right? Because I remember being so nervous like the first couple times I ever went for a reading. So I feel like sometimes you might miss something, but yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, I definitely agree. Especially with the voice thing, I deal a lot with frequencies and reading people's frequencies and energies, and the voice when they talk. You're right. It just opens up a different channel. It opens up a different way to get in there, but it's
Even their
also a
emotions.
bit. Yeah, exactly. I mean, but also, with my voice, I can go in and activate, things inside of people. Not necessarily abilities. A
That's
lot of times
cool.
it is, but it's able to bring up blocks and limited beliefs and address those the way they need to be done. So I think having that feedback from somebody as you're reading them is incredibly important. Not because and I know there's some people, because it just went through my head. I know some people think, oh yeah, they want us to talk back so that they can, you know, dig in deeper or whatever. Yeah, that's exactly what we want to do. That frequency helps, but we don't want you to tell us anything else about what the issue is, and that's a fine line to walk sometimes, is,
I know
letting our
that,
guard down completely.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I
No, you're
know
okay.
that through this development, I've met a lot of different people through all these different groups that we've joined. And just, along this path, there's been a lot of people that I've came across. And there are some mediums that will claim that they get their information better once their sitter starts talking. And this isn't just yes, no, or I don't know. This is when they start, clarifying and like they dive in deeper and sort of give information. And for me, that never resonated with me because when I'm in a reading, if you're telling me information, I'm going to fall right out of my link and I'm going to move right into, my imagination now. Now you're telling me your Aunt Helen is here and, that she died from this. Now you're taking away the evidence that I could have possibly gotten from spirit and brought to you and you're feeding me that information. So I can't work that way. So like the beginning of every reading, I always tell them like, please tell me nothing. I don't want to know anything. I don't need to know your name. Like I will know their name, but like, I don't need to know any of that. Yes, no, or I don't know. At the end of the reading, if you want to clarify and you want to tell me who it was, that's great. But during the reading, like I don't know how people work that way. I guess they think, it opens up the means of communication the way we're kind of talking about it. But I don't know, the way we were trained, I just don't feel that that would help me in that situation. What do you think? Am I
I
wrong for
totally
that?
agree. No, I totally agree. The less I don't want to know anything about anyone, the less I know, the better, right? Because I feel like you said, that potentially if there's too much information given, that is information that I could have gave you to confirm who it is that we are speaking to.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that.
But I guess everybody works differently, I'm not here saying that it's false because, I do believe that we are all meant to channel our gifts a little bit differently and use them. It's just for me, that's a no-no. I can't work that
I would
Mhm.
agree. I don't like for them to tell me. Of course, it's kind of like with me talking to you guys about this, it's kind of six of one and half dozen of the other because I don't do the exact same type of readings you do. They're a little bit different, but I do agree that the less I know, the better. And it's not just for me because I know some people think, if you don't know anything, you get it right. You do this joyous dance in your head. Yeah, I do because it builds your confidence. But
Mhm.
also, it helps the sitter understand that if you can provide evidence to them on a couple of things, that everything else you say is coming from a place that will help them, right?
yeah.
Because that's a lot of the information I receive from energies, from guides. It's not necessarily that, like, hey, I saw you reading a magazine under the cover the other night. It's more like you have got a block right here, and this is what we need to get rid of it because it's blocking you from your best life, right? And so if I'm able to talk to them a little bit and tell them, this is what I know about you. Does this make sense? Yes. And they're going to understand that the rest I have to say is coming from a completely genuine place and some place that they can take away and learn from that. So I absolutely agree with you that I don't want to know anything about the person before I read them, you know? And that's one thing about the Facebook group that we're in, is I don't ever look at profiles or anything like that. They schedule a meeting, I just do it. And it does kind of hurt in a ways because you see their name and their face and all that, and it kind of whatever, but not enough to where it stops me from doing it. It's just I want people to know going forward, you don't have to give anybody information that's going to read for you, except a yes or no, whether things are coming through or not. Does that make sense to you
Yeah.
guys?
That. I think that when they go into the reading feeling skeptical, they're doing themselves a disservice because when you are being skeptical, you are shutting your energy down. It's like nobody is going to be able to channel into that energy or it's going to be harder, right? So by just being more relaxed and open-minded, not talking more, being more relaxed and open-minded will really allow that energy to flow. And the mediums that do come into this and that are doing this ethically are going to come in with the mindset to really help heal you, right? We're not in here to try and scam you. And I know that there's people like that out there that do that. But I feel like if you use your discernment, you're going to be able to find somebody that really resonates with you. We all take a risk when we are trying, different um, mediums and stuff like that to find who resonates with us. And that's sort of a risk that you take. But what you should do is always look at their reviews and make sure that they are who they say they are, right? We're on the internet now, so there's tons of ways to be able to kind of vet the person you're about to connect with.
And I think one of the best ways to vet them is I don't know about you guys, but I have never in my whole life of doing this reached out to somebody anonymously on Facebook and said, I feel you, I need to read you.
I
Right.
know.
And I get those messages all the time. Is child, I understand you're this and I need to read you. And I'm like,
I get
nah,
those messages. Yeah.
I'm good.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I've never done that to anybody. I've never had that urge. Have you, Heather?
No, and it reminds me actually of like years ago. I remember getting this message on Facebook, and I was like brand new to like spirituality. And she was saying that she woke up in the middle of the night and she was called to message me. And, someone had put a curse on me that I needed to send her money so that she could buy the
I'm gonna pull one
tools
up right now.
required to clear the curse from me. So if anyone is listening to this that ever gets a message like that, I feel like legit psychic mediums, people that do legit spiritual work, they're not going to message you.
All
So
right,
I always
Yes.
here,
feel
I
like,
got one pulled up in real time.
Do it.
From user 61654. Hi there. I came across your page and I have to say you have such a strong energy to you. I'm picking up so much regarding your love life and career. You have been under a lot of stress and pressure when it comes to both aspects. It seems the communication in your love life hasn't been at its best potential. Like, can you tell me you copied and pasted this whole paragraph to about a dozen people? And I really hope nobody fell for this. But on the inside, you have been feeling a certain way. I also sense that somebody who has passed on has been trying to reach out to you. Does this resonate with you? Like walk.
it's so
I don't know.
generic.
Yeah. And the
You
thing about that
know?
is people that don't understand, they're going to say, my grandmother died yesterday. And yeah, I want to book
Mm.
a session with her because apparently
It's
she wants to talk to me.
somebody that's so desperate to hear from their loved one at that time too, that's grieving. That is so
Yeah.
horrible to do to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Sorry.
So
absolutely,
I'm
sad.
going down, reading more of them.
and
Um,
it is sad because there are a lot of people out there that do want that information and would give an arm and a leg to do it. So when they get a message like that, I mean, it's every scam artist, best dream, right? Is to reach out and find somebody like that. So I agree with Heather when she says, you get things like that, ignore them because of somebody that does this work for real, their ethics, it's part of what we learn, right? Is even if you get a message for somebody, unless they're asking for it, you don't just contact them and say, here's this message, right? It's just one
yeah.
of those one of those things you don't do. So I guess do you guys have any questions? I think this was a really good reading, really good episode.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't have anything to say. I feel like I'm honestly really tuckered out from this week. I've been just so busy and doing so many readings. Like there is a deep need for like rest and relaxation to rebalance. Like when you do this, you're gonna like drive yourself into the ground if you don't listen to your body when you need to. And also you're not doing well for yourself either if you're gonna keep doing it because then you're gonna fall flat. And then you're not gonna be able to sustain a link for anything. So yeah.
And I think that's good advice for anybody doing anything, whether it's this type of work, working in a hospital, whatever kind of work you do. When your body is telling you to rest, rest. I know a lot of times I don't. Maybe we've talked this before, but I'll get that feeling and I don't because I feel like if I'm resting, I'm not doing something to make my life better, right? And we don't understand that sometimes resting is what makes your life better. Allowing the
Actually,
energy to integrate.
what I was just like thinking in my head, right as you were saying that, was we literally live by needing to create success constantly, but like it's not that serious. Everything that we're thinking is so serious and we need to really get to this place. Like we're on a hamster wheel and it's really not that serious. You're not meant to just work yourself into the ground. And this is for all professions, right? You're meant to just kind of, sure, we need money, we have to work, find something that you love to do. And I feel like when this goes into like your talents and your gifts and stuff like this can be whether you're a singer or an actor, whatever it is that you really love to do and which resonates with you, that is going to be your most abundant stream of income because it's not just going to be the financial means that are coming through. It's going to be because of that passion, you're going to create abundance in happiness, in health, and everything is going to start getting into alignment. And so I wish more people knew that, like, if you have a special talent, you should really put it out there on whatever way that you can because it's what's going to create the inspiration and it's what's going to flow for you naturally. When you go to your regular 9 to 5 job and you hate it, right? Like, you're naturally going to fall into like a bit of like, a slump. So if you have a talent, then use it.
Heather, you have anything to add?
Just that if you have a talent, stop hiding and step out. Let
Yeah.
yourself be seen. Let yourself shine. The world needs you. The world needs your gifts. The world needs your talent. And I know that can be, I mean, I feel like that's easy for me to say now, but I was once that person that couldn't believe, there's no way, 2 years ago you told me I would be on YouTube doing podcasts. There's no way.
Yeah, right.
There's like that would
Amen
just
to
I'd
that.
be like, you're nuts. That's not happening. But I feel like if you feel like it's impossible, I feel like know that it is possible and
It's
maybe
hard.
take little steps each day to get you
Mhm.
closer,
Hard.
right, to that goal. But I feel like hiding your light is you're only disservicing yourself.
Yeah.
The world
Yeah, and I
needs
get it. I get it. Sometimes we know that we have these abilities, we have these talents, and the thing that keeps us from pushing them out there is, well, what if I don't? What if I'm wrong? What if I'm not as good as so and so that does it? Again, that comparison thing, but this goes a little bit deeper in we're blocking ourselves from living our true best lives because we don't believe the things that we can do, right? Especially when it comes to the field we're in, because so much that we do is not provable, right? I channel things multidimensionally. The things that come through me, I can't prove where they came from or who they came from. All I know is that I know that it's right. But being able to step into that fully and present that to other people is sometimes difficult because you think, I know I'm right, but what if they think I'm nuts? So,
And
and I think
they
it,
will. There's going to be people like that.
yeah. And
mm.
I think it works with pretty much everything talent that you have is I'm afraid to do it because I'm afraid that people are going to tell me I suck at it.
Good
And so,
anyways.
yeah, do it anyway.
Sometimes we suck, and then sometimes we
Yeah.
do great. You have to start off sucking somewhere, and then you not like that. Come on.
I,
You have
I
to.
didn't say
You
anything.
gave me
You're
a
the potty
face.
mouth. You're the potty mouth.
You gave me a face. I see where your head was. Anyways, you have to start off, and sometimes you're going to suck, and then you're going to work your way up, right? Like we all start off like that. So whatever it is, I just wish people would chase their dreams a little bit more, like here I am at 34 years old, and I got my very first guitar. And not because I'm thinking I'm going to go out and be like the next, Miranda Lambert or whatever, one of these country stars, my guitar. I just like, I was like, well, why am I getting one? Like, what purpose is this really going to serve? Well, because I want one and because I just want to learn something. I want a new hobby. Like, what's the harm in that? If somebody's out there hating on me because I'm sitting at home playing my guitar and sucking at it, then that's their problem, not mine.
Right.
And it's a
Yeah.
lot harder than I thought, man. I'm not having that great of a time now, actually.
It's just because you're learning. That's all it is. We all have those learning pains. Heather,
Right.
what hidden talent do you have? Or do you have
Oh
one? I know
boy.
you have one.
Hidden talent. Putting me on the spot here.
She's funny.
I
He's
don't
really
think I'm
funny.
funny at all. I'm definitely not musically inclined. I cannot sing to save my life.
I can sing.
This is gonna sound so cheesy. Like I'm very good.
Say
I'm
it.
very no, it's so silly though. I feel like I'm very good at organizing and I don't know. I feel like I could be on that like hoarder show and like clean people's houses because like it would just give me like the greatest pleasure to like clean and organize everything. So I feel like if I wasn't doing this as a side business, I probably would have like an organization and like cleaning
Take
business
a
because
flight and help me. I have two little monsters at home and everything's unorganized.
like everything is organized here. I have to have everything in a certain place. I'm sometimes even will like not alphabetize my cupboards, but I will organize based on like the type of food that it is. Like I like things to be very organized.
Interesting. That is a
I mean,
talent. Not a
that's a
lot of people.
talent. Yeah, I can't.
You
I'm
enjoy
not
it,
very good at
Heather.
organizing like that. Yeah.
Do.
So what's yours, Robbie?
I don't have one. No, I'm kidding.
No.
I guess my main hidden talent really is I know a lot of very useless knowledge. So I'm really
Mm.
good at trivia and things like that. Because as a young child growing up, I just read any and everything and absorbed all this information that I can bring some facts out of a hat that people are like, how the hell did you know that?
So would you be good
And
on
it's
like Jeopardy or Family Feud or something?
I don't think I'm Jeopardy level trivia, but Family Feud, Trivial Pursuit, things like that. It's just weird the things that I pull out of my head. So I think that's one of my talents. And the other one really is just I can't say if it's a talent or a gift, but it's just knowing people the minute I meet them.
Mm.
Knowing whether or not this is not going to be a good person for me, or yeah, I've got to continue this relationship. So, and I have not been wrong, but only a couple of times, and it really burned me when because I knew the truth and just said, "Nah, I'm going to do this anyway," and then I realized, ah, crap, I should have listened to myself.
This just ties
But
into why you're so meant for this work. You're just so tied to your intuition.
yeah, thank you. I am. I am. Sometimes I wish it
I
would have been
spend my
better in my
time singing
childhood,
when
but
I'm not doing readings. I love to sing. I did like a talent show when I was a kid. And I remember like I'd sing in front of like the whole community center. And I've like my brother, he like likes to like mix music online. So we've like recorded songs. And it's Heather, you've seen my singing. I even just tried to get on for a local talent show at my age.
Oh yes, I
I,
forgot about that.
And
there's
I
at
didn't
your
get
age,
it.
come
I was
on.
like, I thought the video was pretty good. You heard it, Heather. What's your honest opinion? Was it okay?
It was pretty good. It was a lot better than I would have done, that's for sure. So,
Yeah, and then they didn't choose me. And then I seen the people that they chose, and it was like an Elvis impersonator, a juggler. And I was like, all right. So I just wasn't meant to be, wasn't meant to be there, but I'll stay true to my singing.
Well, you stay singing. When I was in high school, I was an actor. I acted a lot, and yeah,
There
I
it
don't know
is.
if you probably could not imagine that, right? That I was a dramatic person, but hey, that's the way it was.
I can actually see it. I could see
Oh yeah, yeah.
it.
I mean, and I did play the role. I don't know if you know what Shakespeare's Twelfth Night is, but it's a one act. It's a play that we do a lot of times in high school. Anyway, there's a character named Malvolio that I played, and I felt really good because the judge at that contest said that I played him more like a drag queen than any other person ever had. And I was like, hey, I wasn't going for that, but if that's what you got, then I guess that's what it is. And I wanted an award for that, so I guess that's great. But yeah, I guess it's just been in me
That
my
was
whole
your
life,
Oscar,
huh?
your Grammy moment.
Yeah, it was. It was. I like to thank the Academy.
That's well, thank
Well,
you guys for this episode. I always enjoy it.
I do too. And next week, well, what do we have going on next week, Lara? Anything special that we've thought of?
I don't know. We're really working on getting somebody in for a near-death experience. If you do have a story, please send it over to us. Where do we even have an email? I think it's like two mediums and a large at, is it Gmail?
Gmail. Hmm. And it's the
Gmail.com.
number two, two mediums and a large with the number two.
Yes. So if you have a near-death experience, send it over to us. But we're looking at having a couple different guests. We're looking for an animal communicator. I think we're going to reach out to, and just a few different changes coming up.
Yeah.
Just to break up this little trio that we have going on here.
Even though we're great, we want to add some more people in so that we can give you guys some information that we don't know or that we're lacking. We don't know everything. Well, Lara
No,
does, but Heather and I don't. We don't know. I'm just kidding.
my husband would disagree with you.
I know nothing. I know nothing.
All right, ladies.
Okay,
Well,
guys.
you guys have a great week, and
Thank
we'll
you.
see you next
See you
week.
next time. Bye.
Bye.